Good afternoon, friends. We're still just in our first week of lockdown due to the coronavirus 19. And I'm aware that everyone is feeling the stress, and that for those who perhaps already had some strain in a marriage relationship, or if you find yourself at a point where some of your anxiety medications are not working as well, or that you possibly are drinking more often than you should, I know that many people are going to suggest that you try meditation. And not many of us have had much training or experience with meditation. So I and my associate pastor, David Ketchum, and possibly some of our music staff are going to make some short guided meditation videos for you to help you have that experience. Today I want to start with a very simple one that's visual. Meditation as a form of prayer is not necessarily directed to a divine audience, but is actually a way of going inside yourself and finding some internal peace. Sometimes it is mindful walking. In Catholic tradition, there's the Stations of the Cross. In Buddhist tradition, it is simply being mindful of each step and each breath that you take on a walk. There's meditation that can be done with words, or sometimes chanting a repeated phrase. When I used to go to the Gethsemane Monastery when I lived in Kentucky, I always came away from the prayer services in the church, even though I'm a progressive, I'm post-theistic as it were, but the benediction said at the end of one of the prayers, "O God, come to my assistance. O Lord, make haste to help me. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit." A chanted phrase like that, repeated over and over. And I apologize for my singing voice, which is horrible, but I find at times, even though that Trinitarian intonation is not attractive to me anymore, the repeated phrase itself, that is a gentle supplication to still our fears, to let go of our anxieties. O God, come to my assistance. O Lord, make haste to help me. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. You can also do meditation based on a single piece of art, an image that you focus on, or mindfully listening to a song. I listened to Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water earlier today. Another one that would be a good one to simply sit still and mindfully listen to is the Beatles' Let It Be. Of course, you can pick a favorite hymn. I often remember Gavin Bryar's recording of Jesus' Blood Never Failed Me Yet, taken from a street person. In Britain, they called them tramps, but who was simply muttering over and over a line from an old Pentecostal hymn. It's the repetition, it's the focus where you are sort of driving out your anxiety about whether you're going to go back to work, whether your favorite restaurant's going to open again, whether or not you're going to be able to meet your friends for a live music performance. The world will eventually return to normal, but for the next month or two, let's try to practice some calming, peaceful meditation. I like to try to sit upright, have good posture, try not to be in an uncomfortable setting where you're going to be could be distracting in and of itself. Think about each part of your body. Are my feet comfortable? Are my legs comfortable? Are my hips comfortable? Is my back in a good position? Are my shoulders where they should be? Is my neck bound in any way, all the way up through your skull? And then let's do an image for this first meditation. I like to think about a place on the beach where I used to go when I was in graduate school. At the end of each semester, I would get in the car and drive down to Florida and sit at a particular beach next to an old pier and just watch the waves come in for hours. It's been years since I've been to that particular place, but in my mind, I can always go back there and see the blue sky, feel the breeze coming in and the waves crashing on the shore over and over and over again. There's something about large bodies of water. They have their own kind of psychological gravitational force that you feel the enormity of it and your complete lack of control over it. You can't make the waves come faster or slower. You can't make them be taller. They're simply transferring a tremendous amount of energy from the wind on the surface of the water that when it comes to shore becomes waves. You can also think of a favorite spot in the woods. We have a large nature preserve near here where I go hiking, and in this time of year there's natural springs that are coming up. So there's lots of little waterfalls. Again, there's something about water that is both hypnotic and calming. So if you can imagine yourself sitting by a little waterfall where the water is coming quickly and you can hear it falling, to get peaceful in your own mind, to see that, to hear it, and to just sit with it for a minute. I'm going to suggest a third vision, and I'm going to walk you through it for just a few minutes. Now, mind you, no one has to write and tell me that we don't release balloons anymore because that endangers wildlife and other polluting concerns. But just live with me through this image. If you will, close your eyes. Imagine that it is a very warm and sunny spring day, and you're going to take a walk through a field where the grass is tall enough for a gentle breeze to blow it back and forth, almost like the waves on the ocean or one of the Great Lakes. The grass is just nodding with the wind back and forth. And the only thing you see in the distance is a solitary tree that must be quite large, so far away, and yet it stands out against the horizon. And so we walk towards the tree, a comfortable pace, but quick enough that you feel your heart begin to beat faster. You might feel a little bit of perspiration coming up on your forehead, in your arms, and on your back. The warm sun feels good, and the gentle breeze as it evaporates your perspiration cools you, and you walk closer and closer to the tree. As you stride, you feel the muscles in your upper legs, in your calves, in your feet, as you strain just a little bit under the exertion, the kind of exertion that actually feels very good, much better than just being sedentary. And so as you walk, you look up occasionally to see the tree, trying to make out what kind it is and why it's all alone in this big field. As you get closer, you see some color in the lower branches, color that's moving. Hard to tell what it is at first, but as you get closer and closer, it comes into focus. That it's a bundle of balloons that are tied on a lower branch of the tree. Again, as you get closer, you see that it is a giant oak tree that is surrounded by large rocks, such that it wasn't useful for plowing or for growing crops, but the tree itself had its own perimeter of large rocks at its base. As you walk closer, You see the bundle of balloons that are just tied in a single slip knot, like you would use to tie your shoes to a lower branch of the tree. And they are moving softly in the breeze. I'd like to suggest that you untie the balloons. And as you hold them and look at them moving in the breeze, you can think about everything that is bothering you. The fall in the stock market, your anxiety about whether you'll continue to get paid, your anxiety about whether you're going to be one of the millions of people who actually catch the virus. If you have children or grandchildren, undoubtedly you worry about their health and their well-being. If you're fortunate enough to live with a loved one, you must feel protective of them as well. But beyond all of the wiping off of doorknobs and toilet handles, of washing our own hands and wiping down our steering wheel and being careful about covering our mouths with our elbows when we cough, in the midst of that, always leaning forward in the saddle and worrying about things that we cannot see or cannot control, I'd like to suggest that those balloons, at least for this moment, carry all those things away. Lift the balloons high over your head. And then when you're ready to stop worrying, when you're ready to stop giving energy to things you're not in charge of, just let it go. It's no harder than that. Just let it go. And you will see the balloons start to lift, slowly at first, but when they get away from the tree, the breeze picks them up and suddenly they pick up speed and they drift higher and higher, mostly staying together, but still moving away from you and higher and higher and higher until you can barely make them out in the distance. Just let it go. And when you're ready to open your eyes and resume your daily activities, know that there are people out here who are concerned about your health, about your happiness, about your well-being. And together, we will get through this. We'll be posting a Sunday morning service, an abbreviated one, 3 songs, a prayer, a wisdom lesson, and a sermon. We'll post that at 10:30 Central Time on our YouTube page, which is where you're seeing this meditation. And I look forward to joining you in future meditations. We'll leave these resident on our YouTube channel so you can come back to your favorite ones at a later date. And I look forward to the next time we can be together in person.